acknowledge all of the girls in my category that work so hard. They're extremely talented and very, very creative.
So this is
You
Doechii at the BET Awards and whatnot. So towards the end, she mentions Donald Trump. Now, one of the reasons why it's several reasons why her success is very damaging to Black people in particular. Okay, and so some people are saying that Glorilla is the one who should have won this award. She's probably right. Now, I'm not a big fan of Glorilla, but I've come to respect her more because the stuff I have heard, it's been pretty cool. You know what I mean? So I'm becoming more of a fan. I can't, being as though she comes off as very unintelligent, I can't really get that much into her, to be honest with you. So, there's that. But there's so many different reasons why the success of Doechii is damaging the Black people. But we're going to take a quick break. I'll be right back, okay? So as I was saying, so one of the reasons why it's damaged is because people gonna look at this story and what they see, whether they realize it or not, is you're seeing someone get something without working for it. And that's why people keep speaking out because it's like, well, where the hell you come from? For the most part, the first time a lot of people heard about who Doechii was last year. And I'm not saying that she can't get any awards at all, but it was like, how are you headlining the fucking VMAs? You're at the VMAs? VMAs is for major artists, but it's definitely for somebody who has a huge industry push behind them, which is nothing wrong with that. But don't try to sell me this whole idea that basically that you're here organically. And not only that, but again, if Black people see this kind of story, what it makes people think is that this is what success is, that you can have this level of success without necessarily earning it, right? So Harriet Eve 9 on Twitter writes, Doechii is the newest industry plant pretending to be a girl's girl, which needs to be outlawed, honestly, because girl's girl just means that I'm an extremely toxic woman when it comes to anything pertaining to men. The Democratic Party has another problematic, delusional Black woman holding their water for trinkets. Glorilla is clearly killing it, but the industry has used her for the 2024 election cycle, and now they're on to the next one, right? Um, and this right here was really key. When she said the Democratic Party has another problematic, delusional Black woman holding their water for trinkets. You got to realize that modern women love seeing a girl like Doechii because you got to realize that to them, that's like seeing a cool kid. You know what I mean? You got to think about when you were younger and when you first was around or seen that kid that didn't listen to their parents and they went to bed when they wanted to and had mad freedom. You know what I mean? Now, depending on where your level of where your natural sense of right from wrong is, you may look at that and say, I'm going to go do that then. Or I see that he talked back to his mother, so now I'm going to try it. You feel me? So that's, you know what I mean? So when they see women like this, in their mind, they look at her and see strength. And I guess because to a certain degree, when someone doesn't give a F, it does translate into strength because to a certain degree, that requires some, you know what I mean? Some fortitude, I guess. So I love the fact that people are speaking out against all this shit because again, we don't need our kids, our young people thinking that this is life and believing in these lies. And again, and somebody else wrote on Twitter, Doechii is good, but y'all are forcing it. And she is talented. I mean, I don't dislike Doechii, but at the same time, that girl doesn't have no joints yet. I think she has some interesting records, and it sounds like there's some ability there. But she again, what made you like her artist is when they came with one of them joints. That's how you became a fan. Not by them taking these extreme political stances that are pretty much for the most part anti-patriotic. I mean, that's not, because really again, this shit starts with Kanye. And when Kanye going viral before viral was a thing, when Kanye said George Bush doesn't care about Black people, right? And he went viral for that back in 05, right? And then when he snatched the mic at the VMAs from Taylor Swift during her acceptance speech and everything, like all those unhinged moments, like that's pretty much what she's doing. And artists are good for that because artists are always going to do whatever's going to get them the most attention. You know what I mean? But again, in this era, we have more people who can be free thinkers and speaking their mind and they're speaking out against this. Thank you. I appreciate you. God bless you. Okay.
They don't know what's going on. They never had my back. He told me how much he wants to protect you. They never had my back.
All right, man. I saw a really interesting clip of Leon Thomas. So hopefully, fair use, and hopefully they don't get mad at me for using this clip. So we're going to go ahead and play it. And this is it's off of Twitter. I don't know this guy's name, but shout out to the content creator. And this is shared from
He's stepping up to
the Elliot Wilson channel. So I'm going to play real quick.
forefront. And that's not by accident, man. I mean, I feel like, you know, sitting down and working with Drake on Certified Lover Boy gave me a new level of confidence. The amount of power that Drake was speaking into me around that time was just so potent and real. And during COVID, I was really like just loading.
He's
stepping up to the forefront. And that's not by accident, man. I mean, I feel like, you know, sitting down and working with Drake on Certified Lover Boy gave me a new level of confidence. The amount of power that Drake was speaking into me around that time was.
So this is Leon Thomas. You know what I'm saying? He's up and coming R&B singer. So I actually didn't know that he worked on Certified Lover Boy. Shout out to Industry Politics. I think her name was Portia. I love seeing haters get humbled and humiliated by Drake's good grace and influence on others. Elliot must have been like, cut. You know what I'm saying? So Elliot has been very vocal about this being a so-called dot era. So for the most part, I'm going to play a video in a little bit that's going to really exemplify like what I'm saying in terms of who really won and who was the underdog and who was seen as the bigger draw, right? And what the theme of the battle is. So a lot of people feel like, you know, Kendrick won and I do think Kendrick won in terms of public the court of public opinion. And what he did was, again, it was about strategy, but as far as the battle, as far as how we judge a battle, who's more entertaining, who had the better joints and whatnot, Drake washed the nigga, bro. Most of those songs were ass. All right, Euphoria was underwhelming. It was pretty good towards the end, but it's underwhelming. Even how the shit starts off, it's weird. All those joints was weird, bro. And like, and honestly, in those moments, it became apparent like how much better Drake is than you at music. If you play that shit back to back and whatnot, for the most part, you will skip all the Kendrick tracks. If we play them side by side in terms of the pace, the BPM, the like what he's choosing to talk about, I think that the second half of Euphoria was I think was fire, but it was more like a fire rap. I think he had like a few good bars. I think he said, I believe when you see you in Sexy Red, you see two bad bitches. That was fire. I hope my friends is my real friends on YMW Melly. I don't think you wrote that because that don't sound like that's a battle rap bar. And you don't do those. You know what I mean? But whatever, right? But you got to see who was the better artist. Family Matters obliterates Not Like Us any day. There's way more substance, you know what I mean? It's better rapping, the schemes, everything he's saying is fire. But in that, like I told y'all before, people have an innate desire to hate winners. Because as long as I hate on the winner, I don't have to be better. Or hate on a kind of person who does things differently, who's making their own path. Because to a certain degree, people know that they can't do that. And not that you're not capable of doing it, you just don't have the balls to be who you want to be. Shout out to Tony Montana. That's the bad guy. Because you don't have the guts to be who you want to be. You're all a bunch of fucking assholes. Because you don't have the guts to be who you want to be. So you look at people like me and say, that's the bad guy. So what that make you? Good? Nah, but real talk though, people need that, especially some of you weak men. So for the women, it's a matter of they know they can't get the attention of a guy like that. And for the men, they know that, yo, I'll never be on that level. And they go that ego again. Why are you so focused on the other person? Why don't you focus on doing your best? So shout out to Leon Thomas, because if you guys notice that people have either been silent or in full support of Kendrick, right? To the point where, and I'm actually going to play another video after this, where these two brothers actually point out they make a really good point. But I'm gonna finish playing this drawing and playing the video.
It was just so potent and real. And during COVID, I was really like just loading, evolving as a human being.
Shout out to Leon Thomas and congratulations on everything that you accomplishing, man. And shout out to him for always making sure he show love to Drake, for being the one who, and I quote, spoke life into him, gave him the confidence to step out on his own. And I just like how he keep doing it in the face of Drake haters. Like he did it on the Breakfast Club in front of Charlamagne, and Charlamagne had to sit there and stew while somebody was talking positive about Drake on his platform. Now he's sitting in front of Elliot. I know Elliot so badly wanted to go to his producer at the end of that interview and be like, hey, that Drake portion, cutting that out.
Oh, that's what you mean. And that's one more thing too. And actually proves the point. If people have to mobilize their platforms against someone, what does it say about the influence and impact that person has? You've never seen an entire industry try to move against one person or turn on one person. You've never seen that. And not only that, I feel like a lot of different things that we think and believe, they start from listening to a loser. Even like someone like Charlamagne, right? Shout out to Charlamagne, but for the most part, that was his character at first, was just being a straight up hater and saying things you shouldn't say, saying really thirsty things about women to their face, and something about sucking up farts and drinking bath water. Cause like, yo, he a short, dark skinned nigga. He don't got the most self-esteem. These are all things that like niggas who don't get women do and say. You know what I'm saying? Or niggas that will dirty Mac on somebody. So from the beginning, he always hated on Drake. And with that, you gotta realize that when dudes like that, and it was mad dark skinned niggas hating on Drake. When dudes like that did that, people like Funk Flex, people like Charlamagne, other people hear you say that, and not listen. You're entitled to have your own opinion, but when you have a platform where a lot of people can hear you, that's how we are. The things that we listen to, it programs us. That's just what it is. When you hear an idea, that's why you have to control who you listen to. For better or worse, when you hear someone's ideas, it's like someone planting seeds in your mind. So if I listen to someone who's negative talking all day long, they're planting negative seeds in my mind. Pause. You know what I mean? So I said to say that these people can sway the thoughts and opinions of other people because of the platform. You know what I mean? And these are all things that Drake has had to kind of overcome, especially given the beginning of his career. In the first couple of years of his career, that was the push. This nigga's soft and this and that. And like again, Edgar Man made an amazing point about if Drake would have listened to black people, he would not be Drake. Drake has had one of the craziest runs ever. He's never had a time when he wasn't hot. You can't say, and what's crazy is Drake is still the most streamed artist. I've seen people making videos saying that his records not sound like that no more. No, nigga, he's the most streamed artist, dummy. You can't be the most streamed and at the same time be falling off. And because people are so addicted to attention and the attention you get from hating on winners, because you got to realize you're doing that in your personal life too, because you're not able to see why are they winning. Shout out to Leon Thomas, bro. Yo, listen, my man stood strong. Elliot Wilson, you are not representing well for the light skins right now. Just gotta say it. So let's go to another video. So I saw this earlier. I thought this was really good.
Don't care. But
anytime you have the CEO of Universal,
this is why I think that Drake won, because they're coming down on him.
for sure, Drake definitely won that battle. Yeah. And
Unpopular opinion. That's what I'm saying.
Look,
don't care. But
anytime you have the CEO of Universal Music high-fiving at the Grammys,
Right.
high-fiving Dr. Dre.
Yeah.
When do we ever see the?
That was some cinematic shit. Dr. Dre and Lucian Grange high-fiving as if like mission accomplished. Mission complete was crazy, my nigga.
CEO fucking high-fiving anybody.
That's what I'm saying.
And then the nigga goes and performs Super Bowl a few days later.
Yeah. So
First rap, like
he wins. I don't know how many Grammys he won. He wins.
I think it was like
all of
6.
5, 6, whatever, right?
Yeah.
He wins that. Even though his first album should have won Grammys, which he didn't.
Amazing album.
The best album.
Amazing.
Then he wins all these Grammys. Then the next week, what happens? Super Bowl. That's the biggest stage on earth, right?
Come on,
So you went. So who's pulling the strings here? So then you see Lucien Grange, who was in the Diddy lawsuit originally. He was in the original lawsuit with Diddy.
Yeah.
Then he drops out. So then what happens? It's all on Diddy now. Okay. And then now he's high-fiving Dr. Dre.
Shit's not weird to y'all?
I'm just saying. Here's the thing. Drake, he held everybody down for 15 plus summers.
15.
And everybody hates him now? That's not weird?
That's what I'm saying. Like, everybody all of a sudden hates this man. All of
How?
a sudden.
He has hit after hit after hit.
I don't care who they.
Oh, let's point out what they meant by held everybody down. I've been making this point for a minute that you can't have a genre cannot survive if there's not people like Drake who can get the next person high, who has a strong enough cosign because they're so talented that they're associated with this person. That's like gold. You know what I'm saying? That's like having a golden ticket. All right, and we to the point where people coined the stimulus package because of Drake. That man been giving out stimulus packages for however long. That nigga family tree, meaning people that he did songs with who blew up after that. You know what I'm saying? Or who benefited from a feature, a hook, or writing from Drake. Even Beyonce, even Hove. Everyone who's mattered in hip hop. Only person that Drake don't got a record with that matters is Nas. Okay? And I'll keep arguing. Kendrick knew that his music would have got better if he just kept collaborating with Drake. Because everyone who collaborates with Drake, their music got better. From Future, 21 Savage, Lil Baby. All these people went on to keep elevating and making better sounding music. Not just making music, but better sound. Because Kendrick's music didn't continue to sound better. Kendrick kind of, for the most part, be doing whatever. Honestly, I think he kind of know that, yo, I ain't really that creative, bro. Well, I can't continue to be super creative. You know what I mean? Or I can't keep doing this. Keep doing this bullshit. You know what I mean? But bigger than that, I saw a post from Kev Talks, and he was talking about how basically Kendrick wanted to be signed to Young Money. You know what I'm saying? Before Drake was. So there's so many different things. I mean that this man is jealous of Drake for. You know what I mean? Because for the most part, Wayne did essentially choose Drake over Wayne. You know what I mean? If you think about that timeline. So Drake gets his win around 2008, around 08, like, yo, Kendrick was on the come up. And a couple of years later, in 2011, you know what I mean? So I'm guessing they met in like 2010 or late 2010 or maybe in that year, 2011, Drake puts Kendrick on Take Care on Buried Alive. You know what I mean? On which track? I thought that was Drake for like a minute. And that's how I learned who he was. And that's how I started listening to Kendrick. And I started to enjoy Section 80. Right? Because before this, Kendrick was a broke, struggling rapper. And he even raps about, he has a lyric talking about how he's sharing a bucket of KFC with his girl. And she's talking about how good this Drake song is. You know what I mean? So while Drake was becoming successful, he was still broke. And this is who his girl's listening to. You understand? And then, not only that, he wanted to be signed to Young Money. And here he is living the life that he thinks he's supposed to have. Not only that, this same guy comes around and then helps you get popping. You got to realize that ego. The ego is what keeps him from giving up like Leon Thomas. Because you sound fucking crazy. Talk. The way that you done gone at this nigga Drake. Given that, yo, you wouldn't even be in position to do this shit if he had put you on that album, he put you on that tour. I remember seeing this nigga name on nowright.com, and I would go right over it because Kendrick Lamar does not sound like a nigga that I want to listen to. You understand? And I bring these things up because if you out here really getting it, you don't have time to waste with people who don't believe in you. People who want you to feel like you're wrong or want to bring you down or want to convince you that positive things about you are negative. You think you're better than people. Shit like that. You know what I'm saying? You can't be around kind of people because if you're around them, it wears down on your psyche. You mentally can't take that. And you shouldn't. Okay? And I bring it up because you won't be able to see jealousy. because you don't relate to jealousy because you're focused on what is a focus on themselves, and they can be jealous, right? But if I'm more focused on what I have to do, there's not enough room for me to have jealous thoughts like that because I'm more focused on my goals. I see niggas with nicer cars all the time. I ride through super nice neighborhoods all the time, and I have to walk up on people's houses. But it's exposed me to what wealth looks like, and I'm more confident that I can attain these things, and you can too. But anyway, we'll stop it there. Love y'all. Subscribe to the channel. Yeah.